Hello, comrades! Welcome back to Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. My name, of course, is Over the Potato. That's right, and we have an absolutely cracking episode of Soviet goodness lined up for you today. Right, so, firstly, I want to address a couple of queries that people have had in the comments. If you got any comments, any suggestions, any ways in which to improve the wonderful, glorious Soviet Republic, then you're more than welcome to drop a comment down in the comments below, because you know it helps and it makes a difference. It really does. I read them all, and if I don't respond, I've definitely read it. The first question that was fairly prevalent was, why on earth am I doing all of the resource transportation with cable cars? And the reason for that is that I was kind of expecting that cable cars would sort of be able to take more resources more quickly than they are actually able to. So in hindsight, it would probably have been more efficient to use conveyor belts, like all the way down the side of the mountain. However, I feel like that's also a little bit unfun. You know, I think that there's a lot to be said for trying out the new technology and you know, just seeing how it goes. Although I appreciate it's not exactly the most efficient system. It is kind of cool. It is kind of cool that we're moving unprocessed iron right the way down the mountain. And also moving people up. That's also pretty darn cool. I mean, I like it. I like it a lot. We'll have to see if it'll work out long term. But you know, I can always come back and modify it at some point in the future, should I need to. But for now, I mean, it seems okay. I mean, we're getting a decent amount of iron. We're getting a decent amount of coal down the side of the mountain. Until we need drastically more, we'll just leave it. We'll leave it as this. Right. The second thing that people were pointing out, which is, of course, completely accurate and completely legitimate, is that I don't currently have a resource processing area. So, you might recall just towards the end of the very last episode, I realized that this system is hooked up to deliver processed coal. So we've got processed coal that is being imported into Potatograd large aggregate storage. Now, we can change that. We can change that, and we need to change that because we're gonna basically need to insert a coal and iron ore processing area. That's gonna definitely need to go somewhere. Now, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, we don't have, as of yet, we don't have an iron aggregate storage, which is good because that means, you know, we've got an opportunity to connect that at a later date. However, this is actually going to be reasonably easy for us to just convert into. You know, we're gonna be able to easily add on the necessary equipment and whatnot in order to make this area fully up and running to process coal ore into coal. So my thought process is as follows: we've got this train station here, where the large aggregate train unloading. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. You're experienced Soviet comrades. However, we don't have the processing area. Let me talk you through my idea of the processing area. So, first things first, we're gonna need another train aggregate unloading. Goodness gracious me! I tell you what, I play so many of these like strategy games, so many of these city building games that I can never remember how to rotate the never remember how to rotate the the buildings in any given game. Sometimes it's M and N, sometimes it's Q and E, and in this game it's just a little scroll wheel. Anyway, that's by the by. You don't want to hear that. You want to see some action. Right, so we're gonna get a big old aggregate unloading station right here. Perfectly fine, I think, right? And then what we're also going to do is we're also going to see if we can get, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a large aggregate storage, actually. Large aggregate storage, and that will go right here. Brilliant. And then I'm really looking to try and future-proof this as much as possible. So let's get coal ore processing plants, but I want to get enough coal ore processing plants that we're going to be able to sustain sort of our production levels of coal right the way into the future. So I'm thinking we'll try and get as many of these buildings as we can conceivably get in this sort of reasonably large area. Right, so I think something like this is probably in order. Really? You're not gonna let me build? There's just one singular bit. There we go. Okay, rotate that a little bit. Rotate that a little bit. What do you know? Suddenly we've got it all up and running. So, that should allow us to... I'm not going to build all of these at the same time, by the way. I should clarify that. We're only going to have one coal ore processing facility at this moment in time. However, I'm going to set it up so that we can, you know, utilize more than one at any given moment. And this is going to be a great opportunity to hopefully, I think, show off some of the wonderful mods that I've got installed. So this is exactly what we're looking for. In fact, yeah, this one would be absolutely perfect. So what we do, I believe, is we just ditch. Is there a? I did not realize that. Okay, apparently there's a vehicle on the road. Apparently that all counts as the same stretch of road. If I do that, will that allow me to delete this bit up here? It will. It totally will. There you go. There's a little cheeky tip for you on how to play. Conveyor roadside. Nope. I'm looking for conveyor road crossing. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Brilliant. So, plonk that down right about there. If we can indeed manage. Yeah, you know what? Let's try get that in there. Cool. And then we'll see if we can try and line up all of the conveyors. Shouldn't be too challenging, I don't believe. Might even be able to get it done in a oneer. Mostly it looks fine, apart from the fact there's a little bit of road over here. That's going to need to be taken back anyway, so that's fine. Surprising, I must say. Alright, well, no matter. We can always put in an intermediate step. Or an intermediary step, I should say. Anyway, so that's going to be 3 coal ore processing plants. And if we need to, you know, we can up that number. We can definitely up that number. But at the moment, I think we'll be just fine. Now, is there any thingamabobbers in this mod? Conveyor roadside, no. I'm looking for a 2 input. Yeah, a 2 input to 1 forward. That would be kind of brilliant, actually. Yeah, this is actually just the ticket that I'm looking for. I'll show you what I mean in just a sec. There we go. Ditch that. Brilliant. It's this one. No, it's not. It's this one that I had. Right. Phenomenal. Let's stick this over here. Grand. And then let's get this connected up like that. That connected up like that. And then that can go all the way back to over there. So, what we've basically got the opportunity to do here is we've got the opportunity to bring in already processed coal into this aggregate unloading station. And, sorry, this is going to be fully processed coal that we can bring into this station. And then this is unprocessed coal that we're going to be able to bring into this station right here. Right? You following me so far? It's a little bit complex, but I feel like laying out the sort of basic groundwork of what I want to do at the moment is pretty darned important, because it'll really set the tone for the entire series, really, because coal really is one of those resources that you just have to get right. I mean, when we start when we start dealing with our own power stations and whatnot, it's just so important that we've got a good supply of coal, like a strong supply of coal. And the whole thought process behind this is, ooh, I mean, you are painfully close to being able to make that work. But you know what? We can always do another intermediary step. The reason that I'm okay with doing all of these intermediary steps is that we're obviously going to have to get a workforce out here. I've got a plan about how we get a workforce out here, and it's going to be interesting. Because I want to talk about sort of strategy and rail strategy in a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit of a hint. But anyway, for now, that's looking pretty good. I want to get all of the sort of infrastructure built up, with the exception, of course, of the coal processing plants. Only one of these guys is going to get built. I don't even know how expensive these are. They're not that expensive, he says. And then immediately regrets what he says because he's completely wrong. 145,000 rubles. So that's a very, very large expense, which makes me not want to spend 300,000 rubles on nothingness, really. So let's just not do that. Great. Anyway, so this is all set up. The large aggregate storage is going to receive the unprocessed coal. The unprocessed coal is then going to be stored in the coal area over here. This coal area is in itself a little bit messy, but you know, maybe we can come back at some point and sort of redo some of the conveyor engine transfers, because the modded conveyor engine transfers, assuming that they of course work, is pretty flippin' nice. This whole thing is really good. I mean, look at this sort of stuff. You can have proper conveyor engine transfers that like cross over rails. The whole thing is great. The whole thing is really grand. So yeah, we'll definitely maybe at some point return to this area and maybe redo it. Anyway, this is going to be the coal processing area. Let's make sure that the train system is appropriately linked up. There we go. I think that is wonderful. Get some crossover there. Too sharp a turn. All right, you'll allow me that. That's fine. I will get a chain signal. Also, we can now install waypoints. That's quite nice. Also, thank you very much to the person who reminded me that I need to get a train diesel station. If I'm not going to have electrified trains, then I'm going to need a diesel station. So that's pretty darn important to get done, right? And the diesel station can go... I guess the diesel station could go somewhere like in the middle. I mean, ideally, it needs to go somewhere that there is already power. Or somewhere close to the existing power infrastructure. So let's wipe it down over here, shall we? Right. Yeah, that was probably not the greatest of ideas that I've ever had. Because I didn't really think that through, did I? I mean, I'm immediately just going to rebuild that. Thankfully, that only cost 6,000 rubles or so. But there we go. Too steep of a descent? Really? Alright, but you'll allow me to do that. That's a question mark from me, my dude. There we go. Sometimes the track laying in this game, I'll just never understand it. Okay, so that's all built. Let's get this set up. Let's get that set up. We will set up the automatic importation of oil. That's definitely something that will need to be done. So that's good. That's good. This is all set up to be built at some point later in the future. This is all going to auto build. So that's coal taken care of. Now we're going to need to find... Now we're going to need to find some way to process the iron. And I think that we probably want to process the iron over here. Oh, before I do process the iron, let's talk about how I plan to get my workforce out to this area. Now, I think that getting the workforce out to this area via train is probably a fairly good idea. So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and do it, and I'm going to try and put the train station in a location. Firstly, that will allow us to set up some footpaths, some nice easy walk-in footpaths to all locations that matter. Hopefully, yep, we're going to be able to slip right under the conveyors. That's wonderful. So that should be within range of everything that sort of matters over there. Also, the railway, the connection to the railway, I'm not actually going to put the cargo trains on the same line. At least, not at the moment. Not at the moment. What I really want to do is get a bespoke passenger line, which is going to stay entirely separate from the cargo line, at least for now. At least for now. We don't need it to go sort of long range quite yet, so yeah, we can make sure that we've got a dedicated passenger line. The reason why is that, I mean, I've had immense difficulties previously dealing with you know, sort of traffic jams, or should I say train jams, I guess is probably the technical term, and I really am keen just to avoid them as much as we possibly can. Right, now this is a little bit less than ideal, as I kind of don't want to cross over an already pretty busy area. However, because there's a lot of crossover already going on over there. Let me see if I can... Yeah, okay. Alright, I mean, that works. I can't say that I'm entirely enthusiastic about that little interchange, but We'll do it. We'll do it, okay? Alright, video game, you happy with that? Anyway, a nice simple sort of back and forwards. I do like, in this game anyway, circular loops. Circular loops definitely are more powerful. They work better. And you'll actually notice that most areas that I have yet to build in still have empty areas above the end of the train station. And that is actually for a good reason. I guess this one kind of does too. I guess this one can curve around here or whatever. That is for a good reason, because loops in this game tend to, in my experience, work just a lot better than track crossovers. That just seems to be the prevailing way of the world. So I guess we'll see if that ends up ringing true in this playthrough, or if there's been some updates that change things. Anyway, let's get a big old train station, a big old train platform in the center of town. Now, I could use that one, but I'm actually going to see if I can use my modded platform, because I do indeed believe, yep, I do indeed believe that we can buy a bigger platform, which is going to give a heck of a lot more space. And I kind of want the platform to be over here. Sure, let's plonk that down. So there's going to be four tracks in this platform, which is brilliant. Again, it rings true about the whole sort of curving round tracks and making it into loops. I'm not going to make this into a loop at the moment. This is just going to remain unlooped, but we will have that option in the future if indeed we wish to convert it to a loop at some point. Right, now you're gonna go over there like that, you're gonna go over there like that, and we'll just get some rudimentary crossover as well, just to make it look nice, I guess. I mean, we're only gonna have one train running on this line for the moment. Let's get footpaths linked up. Footpaths, very, very important. There we go. So we want to make sure that absolutely every comrade can access the train station. Not for any individual comrade's benefits, of course. It's so that I have the labor to run my my empire. That's right. So that's that. That's all taken care of. That's very, very nice. What I'm gonna try and replicate, I think, in hindsight, it's kind of good that I set it up like this, because we're probably going to try and get a very, very similar system in terms of iron ore processing. Now, iron ore processing, the buildings are basically, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same as the coal processing ones. There we go. Let's get that done. They're basically the same as the coal processing ones. So if we do something like that, in fact, I should probably just try and step it forward a little bit more. Yeah, so we'll keep this over there. Brilliant. A little bit further back. Brilliant. And we'll try and find a little space for this one up here. Always a bit of a pain when I have to do this, especially with rubles. I don't have to do it with rubles, but I don't really want to untick the ruble box, because if I untick the ruble box, then that opens Pandora's box of potential things that could happen. There we go. Alright, so just spend the money. I know it's not ideal, but it is what it is. Right. Get that modified, and get that in. So, is that going to be within walking distance of the train station? That is a very, very good question. These two definitely are. This one may be a little bit far back. Let's just not build you. Not build you. You can be built. We can always change the location of this later. But for now, let's just continue with getting the aggregate unloading set up, shall we? So, aggregate unloading. Yep, we'll get this right over there. Yeah, I think that's probably just about the location that we're after. Sure. Whap in an aggregate storage, a large aggregate storage at that. I mean, you can literally see how I intend for this to for this to work out. Okay. There we go. Building in the way. Really? What's the building that's in the way there? Video game? I would be delighted to know. Very genuinely curious. Right, so that works. There's a building in the way over here, but that's fine. We'll deal with that in a little bit. Cool, let's set up some footpaths just quickly. Just so that I know it all works. Yep. Ooh. I say that that's definitely going to be within range, although I feel like it might not be. This is almost certainly going to have to come further forward. Maybe I ditch this entire building. Yeah, maybe I'll ditch that entire building, and I'll ditch this entire building as well, and then we'll just we'll replant these. Okay. But for now, that's good enough to get our coal processing going. We're also going to have to get a train. I say I get a train. I did indeed get a train. But we need to kit it out and make sure that it's all ready to go. Hopper, coal ore, yeah, get that. Just, sure, buy as many things as we possibly can. Set it up, so stop over here. Brilliant, load 100% of anything. No, load 100% of trains. You can now manufacture trains, by the way. Coal ore, brilliant. And then over to here. But the building's not finished yet, so we're going to have to wait for that. Okay, let's unpause and see how much money we're going to spend. It's probably going to be the best part of $1 million, I would suspect. Maybe a little bit less than that. I mean, that's 500 rubles, the 500,000 rubles straight up, and we haven't even built the two main sort of buildings yet. But that's fine. We're also going to need to make sure that there's power over here. We also need to buy a passenger train. That's fine. Alright, I mean, that's pretty darn good. This thing only costs 75,000. By this thing, I mean the train station. The big train station. Only costs 75,000, so that's a pretty darn good deal. Let's get this set up. Brilliant. Unload 100% of anything. Let's get you started. First stop is unreachable. Pray tell. It's because of the silliness that we have in the tracks. There we go. Start. That should work, and that should work just perfectly. I don't know what's happening with this little set of points over here. This is a bit worrying. I mean, this is gonna look really, really funky. Yeah, trains aren't supposed to move like that, but I guess on this occasion, since it benefits me, I'm totally susceptible to forgiving it. Totally. Totally. Absolutely okay with it. Totally fine with it. Brilliant. We'll need to deal with the point system and whatnot later, but that's totally fine. How much coal can this train take? 660 tons of coal. I mean, that's a heck of a lot of coal. A heck of a lot of coal, which is good. Right. So you're going to do that. You're automatically buying in fuel, which is brilliant. Happy days. Let's get this road reconnected. Looks like our major spend has just about finished, so I'm assuming that my coal processing plant has been built. Indeed it has. Wonderful. There's no workers, there's no power supply, and there are resources missing. All of those things are going to be fixed. I don't want to say soon, but they're going to be fixed fairly soon. Right, what's the walking distance there? 133 meters. That's actually not that far. That's actually not that far. I was a little bit worried that it would be a little bit more than that. Let's get the iron ore processing. That is iron ore processing. Good. I dread about building, instead of building iron ore processing, I'll actually end up building, like coal processing instead. I don't want to say that that's my worst nightmare, but I feel like it's pretty close to it, to be frank. Right, we're gonna make sure this is a little bit less offset, primarily so I can try and leverage this platform. Hope that it makes walking possible between the platforms. That should be totally fine. That's probably fine. In fact, this walk is probably closer than this walk down here, so I'm just gonna assume until somebody tells me otherwise that it's all fine, and that should work out as well. Brilliant. Let's get that connected up. Fantastic. And what do you know? I think we are up and running. We're going to need to get a little bit of concrete railwayage on the go. Brilliant. And brilliant. Okay. Right, so that's iron ore processing. Pretty much done. We just need to find somewhere to take the iron ore processing, or to take the refined iron ore, I should say. And that will be us sorted. Now, the location that we want to take the iron ore is gonna be fairly important, I would say. And actually, I can see an idea forming in my mind at this very moment. So I'm thinking that maybe we put the steel mill, where is it? I'm thinking that maybe we put the steel mill up at the top of this hill over here. The reason why is it would kind of make sense. It would kind of make sense. In this area, we could have another aggregate unloading area, and maybe the iron aggregate storage, the refined iron aggregate storage. The iron aggregate storage, pretty much. And it also means that we could leverage this track that we've created to deliver workers to this platform, a brand new platform that we could build up here, basically. Because, I mean, we're going to need a lot of workers. And so, oh, look at this. Look at this. Vokzal. That's train station in Russian. There you go. Wow. Okay, I mean, that's really, really cool. I think, yeah, building the steel mill on the top of the hill definitely seems to be the most viable option. The only issue is that it is a little bit of a pain to operate in. I mean, I say a little bit of a pain. It is definitely workable. The reason, by the way, that I want to get steel production set up pretty much as swiftly as we possibly can is so that we have money in the bank. I mean, Soviet economy, even though theoretically it doesn't look like it runs on money, actually does run on money. What can I say? Who was it that said that money makes the world go round? I mean, give that man an Oscar, frankly. Give that man an Oscar. Or, I don't know, whatever, some other meaningful award. Right, will that make things work any better? I mean, this steel mill is going to cost an arm and a leg, 250,000 rubles. I mean, steel mills ain't cheap. Not in this day and age, that's for sure. That is for sure. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. How many flippin' bulldozers do we have working on this? Where are the bulldozers working? Where the heck did my bulldozers go? Oh, they're gonna fill up with... They're gonna go and fill up with fuel, aren't they? Ugh, unbelievable. Slacking. Slacking. You know what I do have? You know what I do have still spare? That's right. I've got the excavators. Let's see if we can do something with these guys. There we go. Lower the ground. Because that's literally the only thing they're good at. No offense, excavators. But there we go. Anyway, yes, we want the steel mill up as soon as possible because it's a... I don't want to say that it's an easy way to generate money, because it's not an easy way when you think about all of the, all of the faff that you have to go through in order to make everything work. It's a way that I think works, and we need steel for a bunch of like homegrown components anyway, so I always like to get steel. Steel and oil are my two sort of go-to money spinners, but oil is pretty difficult to access on this map, I will say that. So I'm more inclined towards steel at this very moment in time. Did I over thingied it, I think. Over deepened it. Did I actually legitimately over deepen it? I think I might have over deepened it. It's really hard to tell. I should turn the wireframe on. That would make things much, much easier, wouldn't it? Unbelievably, yes, it does. Can you believe that? Right. So if we get everything roughly level, then I should just be able to level everything out properly using the steel mill sort of blueprint. There we go. So that should probably work, yeah. And then we do that. The excavators get straight to it. Right. I mean, I really like this. There we go. Let's try and create just a large flat area. Yeah, this is another tip for you, for you avid Soviets out there. This holding down the sort of blueprint of the blueprint of the building over the top of an area just allows you to create a wonderfully flat area, and at no expense if you've got your own building team. There we go, wonderful. So I mean that's looking pretty darn good, I will say. There we go. Keep moving across a little bit, because we're gonna need to get some aggregate storage. We're gonna need to get some steel aggregate storage at some point. I don't really want, at this stage, I don't really think that I'm gonna want to get direct deliveries of coal quite yet, although we might want to factor that into the equation. So, what by that I mean, we're gonna want to obviously have deliveries of coal, but I think that I probably want to do that via conveyor belt from this coal storage area, and also the iron ore storage, or the iron storage area that we're about to build. Also, how's the train looking? How's the train looking? The train's coming to town, and it ain't empty. So we're gonna need to get our butts in gear and get this all sorted before the train arrives. And by butts in gear, I mean let's sort out this power situation. Is that not connected? That's not connected. I guess that probably covers for everyone here, so I don't really know why I would bother with this. Sure, don't bother with that. Instead, we can take that free nodule, sure, and go around. Yep. And into sort of a nice central area. Does that take everything into account? I mean, that's not too bad, is it? Yeah, it's not too bad. If only we could place the darn thing. Yeah, I think position like that is pretty perfect. I think that takes everything in. Yeah. Everything that I'm aware of. Which is probably not everything, but that's okay. And then that connects up there. Okay, brilliant. Let's auto-fund or auto-build all that. Let's auto-build that. And then let's unpause. Still haven't placed the steel mill, by the way, but that's okay. Just want to make sure that that's all up and running before... Yeah, before the train arrives here. Primarily so that we can just unload the coal. That's really important. Right, we've got power. Let's see if we can try and get a train. I will build, and do I want to build? Yeah, I think I do want to build. I want to build a brand new train depot. I'll build the train depot over here. Yeah, build it over there so that we can access. There we go. So that we can access the passenger line. It's pretty important. And then we'll get a passenger train. How exciting is that? All right, have the bulldozers returned to the... the bulldozers have indeed returned to the depot now. They should have lovely full fuel tanks. Brilliant. That's just what we like to see. Right, the train is nearby. About to arrive. Cool. In the meantime, how much coal is accumulated back at the other end of the line? So a little check. 129 tons. Okay, that's fine. I mean, what we could have this set up currently so that it's a bunch of people without a job, people are unable to access churches and whatnot. That's fine. Sport, a little bit of a problem. Hospitals, another problem. We're probably going to need to get a hospital over here. Little bit of a pain in the backside. Gotta be honest. Is there anything that we can put down here just to give people sort of a meaningless job? I guess we could set up a farming area over here. Farming doesn't really occupy that many people, though. Farming's definitely an opportunity. There's definitely an opportunity for farming over here. Brilliantly flat piece of land. Well, I say brilliantly flat. Flat in comparison to a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah, nothing really sticks out as something that we can build over here. I mean, undoubtedly we'll be able to utilize this area in the future. It's just, for now, not entirely sure if we can actually do anything with it. Sure. You know what? Just keep on doing what you're doing, Coalgradsky. I should probably move Coalgradsky over here. Coalgradsky. Choose a different name. Okay, call that Coalgradsky 2. And then ditch this area over here. Here we go. Excuse me. Okay, fine. Just create a new area. Just create a new area over here. Gosh darn it. And then ditch this. Finally. Right, then this can be changed to Coalgradsky proper. By Coalgradsky proper, I mean remove the 2. Bada bim, bada boom. We end up with a proper setup. Brilliant. Okay, wonderful. Now, we are down to 50% of our rubles, but of course we've still got 100% of our dollars, so that's totally fine. Now, are you going to work in the way that I would like you to work? Or are you going to have a little bit of a freak out? You're going to travel onto the other track here and then take the correct track back? Yes, looks good for now. Yes, there you go. There you go. Clever train. Clever train. Right, passenger wagons, or even just a motor wagon, to be frank. Motor wagons, I really do like. Sure, let's get the most advanced type of motor wagon. Not for any specific reason, just it carries a few more passengers. I guess that is a specific reason, right? There we go. And be gone. And then we will also force the trains over here to obey the same rules of the road, or rules of the rail, I guess you could say, as the cargo counterparts. And it goes in there. Wonderful. Brilliant. Okay, I think that should be absolutely fine. No issues with that whatsoever. We'll see if it works. How many people will we pick up? We'll pick up a good number. Brilliant. And then we got 267 tons of material to get through. We've got a walkway. We are ready to go. We are absolutely ready to go. Are we, though? Tell you what, we're not actually ready to go because we haven't linked that up. Oh, goodness gracious me. No. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. When did the game autosave? That was, oh my God, please just don't, oh. Oh, God, I thought it was talking about the flipping pylons. Oh my, I just want to go and cry in a hole. Oh, lordy. Oh, that feels bad. That feels like a proper Soviet setback, doesn't it? Oh, I'm sorry, comrade. We've destroyed one of our key operating facilities, our key coal facilities. Oh, and it's going to be doubly challenging to replace it, because now we don't have the space. The planners. They're on us again. They realize that we've been irresponsible. It's okay, comrade. We'll find a way through. There we go. That was my little Soviet roleplay there. You enjoy that? Oh my. Building is in the way? There's only one building here. There's only one building here. That's the one that I'm trying to flip and build. It's okay. It's alright, Potato. It's alright. You just gotta chill out. You just gotta chill out. You just gotta chill out. You just gotta take it easy, you know. Try and relax a little bit. You know, high blood pressure doesn't do anyone any good. You know? Ooh. Alright. Nice and easy. Okay, the train has almost arrived, actually. Wow. Right, well, I'm sorry. Due to infrastructure below? Okay, well, let me delete the infrastructure below so that you can't complain about anything. Building is in the way. Is there really a building in the way? Like, really? Seriously? A building is in the way? Is that the best excuse that you can come up with, video game? Alright, well, you know what? I'll sort it out. Don't worry. I'll deal with it. Is it just that everything else is perfect? Barring this ridiculousness? You're really gonna... There we go. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Alright. Get that all built. Unfortunately, we're probably gonna have somewhat of a lazy workforce. I say a lazy workforce. Lazy workforce isn't really the technical term that we need to use. Hold on. Change direction of the train. Turn around. There you go. Go back along that route. I wish I could just tell you to stop. But no, you're gonna turn around again. Alright, I mean, that could have been handled more professionally. Better. I mean, just literally any way that was better than what happened. The game even gave me a prompt and I didn't take it. I didn't flip it. I just... Oh, man. I realized what I'd done. Pretty much as soon as it happened, to be frank. And what do you know? Anyway, where's the train? Is the train almost back at the depot over here? It actually is. Okay. Well, why don't we try... We'll keep, you know, we'll do all the resources with one train at the moment. So, over here, load 100% of iron ore. Brilliant. And then come all the way back over here and unload 100% of anything. See that? So, we should, yeah, that should all work. Okay, I'm going to put wait until unloaded on here. Because if I don't put wait until unloaded, then there's a risk that we could, you know, overflow on coal ore and then not be able to empty all of the coal out, which means that some coal might get infected in the system. But if I put this on iron ore only and that on coal ore only, then that should work out just fine. Now with the steel mill. The steel mill. Let's wait until the locomotive gets back. Has everyone got a job? A church? No kindergarten spaces? And the buses. Hold up. The buses still have issues. What's the issue with the buses? There's a connection here. Oh, it's the connection over here. There we go. Nice and easy. Right, get the buses. Sort the buses out. They shouldn't have a problem. There we go. Brilliant. Also, I should probably deploy some more signals on this track so that we don't have... Yeah, so we don't have a massively long wait. And deploy some more signals over here as well. Good. Okay. I mean, even though this seems like a disaster, actually everything is working kind of how I'd like it to. Yeah, I would say that, you know, things are, for the most part, actually okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to queue up... I say I'm going to queue up. I'm going to do quite a bunch of land transformation right now. And by land transformation, I mean I just want to try and flatten it out as much as I conceivably can. Because I would like this large plateau with which to work. Because there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to need to fit up here. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to need to fit down here as well. So we're going to have like a secondary plateau. In fact, we might even have like 3 plateaus. What do they call that? You know, farming on a field? Terraced farming? It's kind of the vibe that we're going to end up going for, actually. So we're going to have like two terraces. There we go. And I must say, that looks not too bad. Oh, yes, is the coal facility up and running? The coal facility is indeed up and running. Fantastic. So we're going to be chowing through this coal like there's no tomorrow. In fact, we're really making very, very light work of it. And of course, since we auto-purchase coal at present, that should move to a slightly less frequent occurrence. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I am very, very happy with that. Okay, so that's coal taken care of. We've got coal. Now we just need iron, and the iron train is going to be coming in just a second. So let's start planning this. Let's start planning this area out. Right, the most important building that we're going to need to get down is the steel mill, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, I think we probably want the steel mill to be oriented in this direction, for a couple of reasons. I'll share them with you in just a second. All right, flatten the ground just a little bit. Seems to work a little bit quicker if you have the steel mill and hover over the blueprint. So we can modify the terrain slightly faster like this. I don't know why. It's just one of these weird things, I guess. There we go. Continually move just a little bit further forward. And I think that'll be enough space. The reason that I say think is because we're gonna have to get quite a lot of stuff. Okay. Yeah, probably that there. Right, so we're on pause. That's good. I just keep building. It's a compulsion. Right, so we'll get that down like so. Now, there are multiple connections that we need to bear in mind. Firstly, and most importantly, are the resources that we use to supply the steel mill. So that will be coal and iron. Now, I would very, very, very much like to have the opportunity to unload already processed coal directly here. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and build a system. There we go. That seems to work not too badly. I'm going to try and have a system which will allow us in the future, and this, by the way, is not going to get built for a good long time when we actually have another coal or iron processing facility apart from this one down here. Actually, speaking of that, let me demolish that. And let me suspend construction on that for just a second, because I'm going to need to move it across a smidgen. The point that I'm trying to make is that I want to have that like that, and then also this over here. We basically want as much storage as we can of coal and iron resources as possible, because the steel mill consumes a heck of a lot of resources. Right, so let's get that in there. Brilliant. So our conveyor should link up like so. Fantastic. That should in fact leave space for some conveyor engine transfers over here. Brilliant. These conveyor engine transfers. Right, that one works. These conveyor engine transfers. Suspend construction. Suspend construction. Brilliant. These conveyor engine transfers will supply the existing coal and iron reserves. So, in effect, we need to have an engine transfer over here. We'll do that with the modded parts. We just need one. We just need one in and one out. Yeah, I think that's totally adequate, frankly. There we go. There we go. Brilliant. And I'm looking for conveyors. Hopefully this should link up. No problems. It doesn't, which is a pain. It's going to cause confusion, no doubt, for all of the buses that are trying to get around. Right, one in, one out. Right, do I really need to spell it out? I really need to spell it out, apparently. There we go. Right. Too steep of a descent. Video game. Why must you do this to me? There we go. It's that simple. Okay, so one in, one out. That goes in there like so. Brilliant. And then this will come all the way up to here. It's too long, but that's to be anticipated. So let me get another engine transfer right over there. See if this links up. Hill causing obstruction. No worries. Brilliant. Brilliant. I mean, this can all be redone at some point. We'll almost certainly need to get some of the modded conveyor engine transfers, but that will basically be the conveyor engine transfer setup for coal, right? So that's basically what's going to happen. And then iron, aggregate iron storage. I mean, what do we really need iron for other than to be turned into steel? I'm not actually entirely sure that we need iron for anything other than steel production. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not really consumed as a component in anything? I don't think. I don't think so. Yeah, it's just steel that I think is used as a component. Maybe the chemicals? No, that's crops and gravel. Asphalt, coal, and gravel. Yeah, I don't think iron is actually used as a component in anything else. Which is really good, because that means that we don't need to factor in sort of any aggregate loading or anything like that. Whereas with coal, we might conceivably have to. Yeah, also, the advantage of doing this way, i.e. having two coal aggregate storages, large aggregate storages, is it means that, you know, we're gonna have more and more resources, or as many resources as possible that can be consumed by the steel mill. Look, I get that maybe it's a little bit OTT. You may say that. I give you permission. I grant you permission to say such things. However, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Right, let's get this flattened out. And yeah, move this forward a little bit, please. Brilliant. So this is kind of the terrace thing that I was talking about earlier. Grand. Okay. Then we will go and get a conveyor engine transfer, which should work, he says confidently. That does not look like it's going to work. Angle of the connection is too sharp. Does not look like it's going to work. Try again. I mean, it could always just go in front, couldn't it? Yeah, it's totally fine. As long as it's past the minimum distance for a conveyor to travel, then yeah, it should be a-okay. Okay. And tell you what, I should probably just use a modded one. This one. Yeah, it is roadside, but it doesn't need to be roadside. We can just stick it down like so. The fact that we just got options, conveyor options, is just fantastic. I'm not going to link that up quite yet. And that goes in there. Fantastic. Fantastic. In fact, that can probably... No, can't link up directly, but that's okay. Right, so that's that, and then we're going to need to get a similar sort of connection set up that we've got over here. Let's just get this right over there. Will that connect up in one? Building is in the way. Alright. I mean, I should probably just preemptively use a rail crossing single. We need a rail crossing double. Yeah, rail crossing double. Let's do this. Ah ha ha, look at this. This is looking professional. Doesn't really need the roads at either side, to be fair. But it still looks professional, undoubtedly. Let me have another crack. Is there just a rail crossing single? Road crossing, road crossing. No, rail crossing. Road and rail crossing? No. I literally just want a rail crossing. I don't really need the roads, frankly, but okay, I guess I can only have the roads as part of the equation. That's fine. All right, and then all the way up here. Brilliant. So that is going to be that sorted. What we're now going to do is set up the railway connection. Now the railway connection is going to come up right up here, and hopefully it should work as intended. That's kind of as intended, I guess. Brilliant. Too steep of an incline. I was kind of banking on that not being a super steep incline, and in theory it shouldn't be. Also, what the heck is going on with this conveyor? Not really sure about that. Anyway, the point is that I want to put in a train platform small right over here. Fantastic. Let's see if we can link that up. I mean, it will work. It will work. Come on. Come on. I can feel that you want to work, video game. I can feel that you want to work. It will. Trust me, folks. It will work. Very confidently unconfident about this. Ooh, maybe it is just a smidge too steep. I mean, it does look ridiculously steep now that I look at it, doesn't it? And we kind of need to approach this from another angle, perhaps. I mean, let's try lowering this down. Lowering this down. There's no reason that this needs to be high. I mean, the reason that this was high was specifically so that it would be able, that people would be able to walk from. Yeah, so that people would be able to walk from the station to the factory. Okay, that looks not too bad. That looks not too bad. Can we try that? Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Promising. If I average that out, that looks very promising. Until of course the game tells me that it's not promising. No, you're not working from this angle. Let me try from another angle. It does say that you want to work. Alright, take this back a little bit. Have I inadvertently destroyed some of my progress? Maybe. That's so even everywhere. It's just about navigating the good spots to build, you know? And it doesn't look like there are many over here. I think we need to build it in bits. Smaller bits than we're currently building. Okay. Okay. Still too steep of an incline. Look, I am gonna get there. I am gonna flippin' get there. It's the last gosh darn thing I do. I know it's possible. I know it's possible. We're slowly doing it. looks good. That looks good. It's an improvement. Oh, it's so close. It's so close. It's so unbelievably close that it is actually painful. It's like I want to stop, but at the same time, it's just like I want to nail this. I want to get it done. I want to get this done. I super duper want to get this done. Okay. Flatten this out. There we go. Okay, we've got it, we've got it, we've got it. He says confidently. That looks pretty good to me. That looks pretty good to me. I mean, that was an absolute nightmare, but holy cow, we flipping did it. Oh boy, we did it. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Okay. As long as we've got no more connection issues, I'm sure it'll all just go swimmingly. Oh boy. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Angle of connection too sharp. You can't do this to me now, video game. I'm too invested. Alright, bring this down a smidge. This is okay. We're not really changing anything. Okay. Okay, look, there we go. Thank goodness it works. Oh, my goodness. Right, can we get it down here? It works. It works. It works. It's official. It works. Okay. So, build that. Brilliant. Oh, my goodness gracious me. I feel like I've aged a substantial amount. Right, build all of that. Now you can sort of see where I'm going with this. I think. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Anyway, that's going to be the train platform over there. What we're also going to do, we're going to need to make sure that we put in a walkway. Thankfully, walkways, I know, can navigate. What? Building is in the way? Excuse me? What building exactly is in the way here? What building is in the way? What building is in the way? There is no building in the way. Right, play. Just play, just play, just do what you do. Let's get all of that built up. Sure, get all of that built up. Get that funded. These don't need to be funded right now. These need to be funded. That funded. Brilliant. We obviously need a whole bunch of power over here, but that's, again, kind of by the by. If I don't see progress on this, I'm going to freak out. Absolutely freak out. Anyway, that's going to cost us an absolute arm and a leg, but I'm happy to do it. It's a necessary evil. It's a must. Fund that. Fund that. Have we got iron at the depot yet? We ain't got no iron at the depot. That's okay. We will have iron arriving on the train, presumably soonish. We got half a train of iron. All right, that's better than can be expected. To be fair, better than can be expected. Right. So again, unfortunately, the buses have ended up bearing the brunt of my frustration, and therefore the road has once again been ignored. It's fine though. Right, once the steel mill is actually built up and ready, that should be fine. Anyway, so that's the sort of supply side dealt with. The delivery side is actually much easier because it all connects up via the storage stuff, and I mean, we can always flatten this area out later on, so that's fine. So we've got the aggregate storages in here. This again is like future-proofing. We're trying to future-proof the system so that if in the future we need more resources, and you know, we're probably going to be able to expand this area a little bit, but this area is pretty maxed out. Certainly the coal processing area, that's about as big as the coal processing area in Potatograd anyway is going to be. It's never going to be bigger than that because we just don't have the space. Maybe we have space for one more coal ore processing plant. Maybe. Big maybe, but it's a massive pain to do. So what we'll probably end up doing is, we'll end up processing the coal somewhere else, and then we'll end up shipping it in. What I want to make sure is that we absolutely have the infrastructure in place to accept the sort of shipped-in, imported resources at some point. And, just to make sure that it all works out. But yeah, that's the sort of supply side dealt with. I'm reasonably happy with that. What I'm really concerned with is the fact that this path just doesn't want to work in connection to the steel mill for some obscure reason. And also, I'm a little bit concerned that maybe the length of the path is slightly too much. If that is indeed the case, then that's going to be a massive problem. Obviously, the whole reason that we are setting up this sort of bespoke station infrastructure is to make sure that workers can get in large quantities to the steel mill, because the steel mill. Oh yes, I did in fact forget. The diesel station is quite a ways away. Whoops, my bad. I will make a refueling point right now. I'm surprised that you did as many journeys as you did, frankly. It's quite something. Right. I have a funny feeling that this will end up being rather a temporary fuel stop. Does seem a little bit too does seem a little bit too in the route or in the expansion area of where Potatograd will end up growing to, but that's fine for now. That's okay. Right. Okay, steel mill is built. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So it's coal that we need more of, which is why we want to have as many aggregate storages connected up to the coal as possible. This is the moment of truth here, folks. I'm not going to demolish the steel mill. If I demolish the steel mill, I'm ending the flipping series. There is still the building in the way sign still popping up. What the heck is this? What the heck is the building in the way? Okay, but that works perfectly. Presumably that'll connect right back up. What the heck was that? So what was the issue then? I don't know if I quite understand that. Right, let's build the path and let's see how far it is. 159 meters. Perfect. Perfect length. A little bit on the long side. It'll take a little while for people to walk up there, but I mean, for the most part, that is totally fine. We do indeed need to get a little bit of crossover. Alternatively, we can just, get the train tracks to come straight out here and around. We can just create like a little sort of Potatograd loop where the trains just go round and round and round and round and round. I actually like that idea a lot. I think we'll probably have to develop that concept in the next episode, though, because that's not something that I really care about at this moment in time. So yeah, it's 500 people that we need for the steel mill, which is just ridiculous. Also, what I can and should be doing is I should be buying in, purchase resources using rubles. I'm going to auto-purchase in coal ore. So coal ore, price per 1 ton is 8.3 rubles, and the price of this stuff is 20.63 rubles. So I tell you what I'll do. I will reduce the purchase price of coal because we just don't need it, frankly, and instead we will now start buying in coal ore. Sure, we'll just start buying in a bunch of coal ore as much as we possibly can. That will, of course, I mean, it doesn't really look like it's going to have a bunch of cost savings, because it looks like our finances are in even worse an even worse state than they already were. Where the heck are you going? Oh, you've got coal ore. Okay, you're gonna unload coal ore in. That's totally fine. I mean, we can deal with that. We're only storing 1 block. We're only auto purchasing 1 block of coal anyway, so that should be totally fine. And over here, we will set up to purchase in iron ore, which is similarly cheap, I guess. Yeah, we'll buy the absolute minimum that we can possibly get. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we can actually buy manually. That's cool. I've never really used that. Yeah, we'll set up with auto purchase again. So we'll just work on refining a bunch of iron. primarily because I want to start steel production as soon as we possibly can, and we want to make sure that all of the pieces are in place as swiftly as possible to make steel. Obviously, we want to, we want to make steel as cheaply and as affordably as we possibly can. However, I've got no issues with buying iron in any sense. That's absolutely not something that I'm too concerned about. Right, so, as I said, we're going to deal with the passengers in the next episode. We're also going to deal with the sort of output on the next episode. But for this episode, I think we should probably just make sure that this building has a power supply. Now, some other infrastructure is in the way. I did think that this might be a problem. However, building is in the way. I did anticipate this maybe being a little bit of an issue. Although, I do indeed believe that these steel mills can be... Oh, actually, maybe that's not going to be an issue. Or maybe it will be an issue. There does look like a... There looks like a connection that's ready to be made here, actually. Yeah, let's not use the demolish tool. Yeah, there's definitely a connection that's to be made there. I mean, that's a very, very precise needle to thread. But by golly, we've done it. I'm actually somehow... I'm shocked at that, frankly. Alright, but that is a totally workable power line. Now, the power line that we've got over here is probably going to need to be split up yet again. High voltage switch. That's just the ticket. That's just the ticket for me. And then we're going to go right around the periphery of Potatograd, even though it's going to cost me an absolute arm and a leg. I'm kind of hoping that if I go right the way around Potatograd, like to the furthest extent that I could ever envision Potatograd expanding out to, means that we don't need to sort of rebuild these power pylons like every 20 minutes or so. Kind of like how I'm doing with the high voltage switches at the moment, but there we go. Okay, so that probably gives you a fairly good a good idea of my sort of vision of Potatograd. So it's sort of expanding all the way out here. Expanding all the way out here. Maybe getting some boat terminals in this river, if indeed boat terminals will work in this area. Who knows? We'll have to figure that out as we go. And then also sort of up to the power cables over here. And this area is probably where I envision Potatograd finally expanding out to. Obviously, residential area, probably over here. Industrial area, probably over here. Maybe expanding into over here. This area is pretty nice, you know, in terms of what we've already got here, and so we're just going to continue to grow it as we get the opportunity to do so. Right, so let me go and build that. That's going to cost me another 100,000 rubles. That will drop us under 4 million. But let me be honest, that's not a problem, because in the next episode we're going to be making a gargantuan amount of steel, an absolutely gargantuan amount of steel, like truly a gargantuan amount. Building is without a power supply. Did I not auto-build that? I did not. There we go. So when that goes down, the entire power supply for the entire city goes down, which is always a little bit of a problem. What have we got here? No workers. No workers. Have we still got a train shortage? Where's our train? Where's our train? Where'd he go? Did you go all the way down? Where did the train go? It's not despawned, has it? Because it ran out of fuel. No. Where the heck is it gone? You can toot at me all you like, my dude, but what the heck happened to our train? I spent 37,000 rubles on that. Oh, it's here. That's disguised. Very, very nicely. Is it because it's without a power supply? It's because it's without a power supply. Right, I mean, that is something which I didn't really anticipate. I mean, where's the nearest... Alright, you know what? Fine. Fine. You can get your dedicated power line. Sure. Right, get that built. And you know what? let's just thread this through the center of town. I know I'm going to regret it in the future. I know for a fact I'm going to regret it in the future, but I mean, frankly, look, I don't have a choice. No, that's not true. I do actually have a choice. I absolutely do have a choice, and I'm just making the choice that benefits me the most at this moment in time. Right, let's see this train get filled up properly, so that we can resume worker services, so that everything works just the way that we intend it. Okay, we are down below 4 million rubles. It is a little bit worrying, but that's okay, because the real litmus test is going to be if we can make profit with our semi-homemade coal and semi-homemade iron. That's going to be the real test. That is going to be the real test. How much iron, how much coal do we have waiting? Almost a full load of iron, almost a full load of coal. I mean, we're not really anywhere close to our maximum capacity, and that is a bit of a problem, as I highlighted at the very start of the episode. We might need to change that. Definitely, we'll probably need to change that in the future, because now we're just sort of throwing away productive capacity, which is a little bit of a bummer. But it doesn't particularly matter for now, because what matters for now is making sure that we've got all of the steel that we could possibly want, so that we can sell it. We're currently missing coal. We're currently missing iron. We also don't have any power for these conveyor engine transfers over here. So that's something that we're also going to need to sort in the next episode. Because that's it for now, ladies and gents. Thank you oh so much for watching. Thanks as ever to my fantastic Patreon supporters who help make videos like this possible. My name, of course, has been Potato, and I will see you next time. Bye.